Welcome to the AllMed PM tutorial. Today, we will explore the Superbill feature and learn how to set it up. It's a straightforward process, so let's get started. To access the Superbill, you have multiple options. First, navigate to the Reports section and select Patients. You'll find the Superbill there. Alternatively, you can access it through the patient's database by selecting a patient. Or by the Schedules section. If you have a schedule, you can print the Superbill for the entire day. Now, let's set up the Superbill. Click on Setup and go to the Superbill section. We'll begin with the Diagnosis group. Here, we'll create a group of diagnoses that will appear on the Superbill. We'll set up one group as an example. Click Add and name it, such as Demo Superbill. Next, we'll add our desired diagnoses. Click Add and select the relevant diagnosis codes. You can either choose specific codes or simply select a range. Once you've made your selections, click OK to proceed. You can create as many diagnosis groups as you need by repeating the process. For instance, you might have groups for different types of patients, such as first visit or follow-up. The setup allows for flexibility, so feel free to create as many main diagnosis groups as necessary. Once you have reviewed the Superbill, you might realize the need to modify the description. Making changes is simple. Just click on Edit Group to update the description that will be printed on the Superbill. Let's continue by setting up the procedure groups. Setting up the procedure codes follows the same process. Let's quickly create a sample group as an example. After completing the setup, remember to click OK. Now, let's proceed with running the Superbill. Go to the Reports section, select Patients, and click on Superbill. Here, you'll find various options to customize the Superbill's appearance. In the Header section, you can choose to display either the provider info or the company info. If the patient is new, selecting the corresponding option will print an empty form for you to fill out the patient's information manually. The Superbill includes sections for diagnosis and procedures. Additionally, you have the option to include the last visit details. By selecting this, only the information from the patient's previous visit will be printed. Now, let's run a Superbill together and make it look presentable. We'll first run it by the first selection, last visit, and see what it looks like. Now, let's move on to the next option, ICD-10. In the ICD-10 section, you can randomly select specific codes or choose a group for a special visit. The interface allows you to select up to 15 codes divided into 2 columns. You can click on multiple codes while holding the Control key to make selections. Once you've made your choices, you can decide which information to include. For instance, you can print only the last visit and display the patient's balance if applicable. Now, let's take a look at how this appears in practice. Now, let's examine the diagnosis and procedure groups that we set up earlier. We'll choose what groups to include. Now, we can determine the arrangement of the groups in the Superbill by choosing the desired columns. You have the option to configure up to 3 columns. Notice that the descriptions we assign to each group appear at the top in bold text. If necessary, you can rename them to better suit your needs. Feel free to experiment with all the available selections until you achieve the desired layout and content for your Superbill. And that concludes our tutorial on the AllMed PM Superbill. We hope you found it helpful. If you have any further questions or need assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you for watching.